stuck in a pig pen. The story goes where the prodigal son is a Jewish kid, where he ends up being in a pig pen, which as a Jewish person, being in a pig, they wouldn't even eat pig. They wouldn't even eat pork. Now he's in a pig pen. In life. And how many times have we got stuck in a pig pen in life? And sometimes in a pig pen, we actually thought it was a mansion, and sometimes we've been in the mansion and thought it was a pig pen in values. So many times in my life, I've been like that. And I felt like God was just strengthening my spirit to pull me out of this stuff that I've been going through, because I've been in a pig pen for so long and this sloth has guarded me. And the kid, also a lot of times it says the younger son, which a lot of times with youth there's a lot of energy but not very much wisdom. And there's just so much in this chapter. But it says that he went to the father, and the father divided his goods, and he went off for prodigal living. Later in the chapter, his brother talks about that he went after harlots. So he liked them strippers. He liked them strippers, he liked them. Maybe he liked prodigal living, maybe he liked being at the clubs, like maybe he liked the women at 2 a.m. at the clubs, maybe he liked alcohol. Whatever it may have been. It could have been, anything. Prodigal living, though, living fast. Living fast will bring you into a pig pen. That's right. Mm-hmm. It will bring you into a pig pen.
Come on.
Prodigal living will end up taking you into a pig pen. Sin.
That's it.
Sin will end up taking you into a pig pen. And so he's going out there. His father is rich. He leaves his father's house, and he first time maybe out in the world, and he feels like he's balling. And so he's experiencing this prodigal living. He's experiencing maybe with harlots, whatever, prostitutes, strippers, whatever. And then he finally realizes that after all that he's gone, and he's stuck in a pig pen where he never thought he would be, in a place that he never would have ever thought he could have ever imagined of ever being. He's stuck in this pig pen full of slop. And he says, man, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Like, I'm hungry. I wish I could eat what these pigs are eating.
Come on.
They won't even give me the food these pigs are eating. And so he goes from a mansion where he had everything, he just didn't know it, to end up taking half of his father's goods, running off, prodigal living, end up in a pig pen. And now, like it says in the Bible, he came to himself. Man, like, sometimes people talk about, the prodigal son, he's a prodigal son, but I look at this kid and I think he's like a first-round draft pick in my book. Because it says, as he came to himself, he literally looked at himself in the mirror. He really took a look at who he really was and where he had really come. And if you can really look at yourself and say, yeah, I have sinned, he ends up running back to the Father and he says, Father, I've sinned against you in heaven. If you can really look at yourself and you can really look at yourself and say, yeah, like I really messed up. Like I'm in this slot for a reason, and I put myself in this slot. This is my fault that I did this. That's a man to me.
Yeah,
or that's a woman to me. That's an adult to me.
Yeah.
That can really look at themselves in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm a sinner.
Come on.
Yeah.
I made a mistake in my life, and that's what's brought me here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like, that's a person to me. That's someone who I want on my team.
Amen.
Yes.
That's someone who I want on my team. Like,
Amen.
So when I think of a prodigal son, I take him, he didn't even have a Damascus Road event where Jesus blinded him for 3 days. Like, that's someone who I would take in the first round. Like, that's someone who I would want on my team, that they can truly look at themselves and say, yeah, like, I have messed up.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like, I am at fault. Like, this is my fault. Like, I am a sinner. Like, I need help.
Come on.
I'm in need of a savior.
It's good. It's good.
And this story, like, God has just been yanking my spirit through all this stuff that I've been going through.
Come
and
on.
it's just strengthening me. And And I just, every day, it's been just speaking to me. It's like he's like sitting next to me and he's just going back over and over and over and over it with me. So he says he's in this pig pen, place he never thought he would be, and he says, I will go back to my father's house. Even my father's servants have bread to spare. And I'll go back and I'll humble myself. And I'll ask if I can be a servant of my father's. Not even a son. I don't even deserve sonship no more. But I'll just be a servant. God, I'll serve you. You know what I'm saying? Father, I'll serve you. Just give me the bread. Just give me bread to eat. Give me the leftovers.
Come on.
And so he runs back to his father. And his father sees him coming and runs out halfway to meet him. And I forget after that, but then he brings his son in and they throw a party for the son. They kill the fattened calf and in that time, like, so he went to all expense that his son came back. All expense.
Come on.
Yes.
Wow. Has God ever went to all expense for me? Like, has my values, I took God for granted so many times in my life. And still, though, when I came back, he's ran out to me.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's doing a party for me. You know, like, he's doing a party for me. Continue to bless me. Continue to keep on blessing me.
Yeah.
Continue to keep giving good things in my life. And today, I'm noticing I gotta see it. I gotta value it. I gotta take it for granted. What matters most in my life, you know, is something today. Like, I got to know.
Yeah.
Or I'll end up back in the pig's pen. And so he's throwing a party and they killed the fatted calf and went all out. The other son, the older son who stayed with the father, who remained faithful, who got up and did the work, never left. Is still there, and he comes back up to the house and he says, he's like, why is there a party going on? He doesn't understand it. There hasn't been no laughter in the house since the other son left. There hasn't been no party in the house since the other son left.
Come on.
He's like, what's going on? He asks the servant, he says, what's going on at the house? And the servant says, your brother came back, so your father killed the fatted calf, and he's throwing a party.
Come on.
And it says the older son was mad. He was mad. He felt like he was overlooked.
Yeah.
He felt like the people didn't see the gifts that was truly in him.
Come on.
Right.
He felt like that he was, you know, like he was overlooked, that he was second best, you know, that he wasn't.
Come on.
He didn't, you know, and so I love this part too. And the father notices that his oldest son isn't in the house, so he comes running back out.
Come on.
And he says, haven't you seen, son, that everything I've done has always been yours?
Jesus.
You know, everything I've done, all this I've done my entire life, that I worked for my entire life, has always been yours.
Come on.
Come on.
You could have always took that. You could have always took the calf if you wanted it. You could have always did this if you wanted it. And, you know, it's just such a picture. Sometimes, like, I felt like I've been looked over in life in scenarios in my life. Like, I felt like that I wasn't picked first, and I should have been. But like, it's just, when we come back to it, and God is always, what am I trying to say? God is always, you know, God is always giving. When we walk into the fullness of God, He gives us everything.
Amen.
We walk into everything. You know, He gives us everything. Even, you know, when our attitudes are sour.
Come on.
You know, I've been in church mad plenty of times.
Come on.
I'm sat in these seats, in these purple seats in here, man. You know, my attitude was messed up. I didn't want to be here. Oh, I didn't want to be here. And but God still has continued to show me and continue to meet me where I'm at.
Come on.
And continue to bring me into His house.
Yes.
And you know, like I was thinking today, I was like, you know, how grateful am I because, you know, there's this song that says, today is a good day when you're saved from eternal flames. And man, when I really think about that, like I should, like, if I was God, I would hit a gavel and I would say I should be in hell right now burning. Like, there's no doubt I should be in hell right now burning. My life should be over. It should be a wrap. And so today, I was thinking about it earlier. When I started singing, I was like, I'm just grateful to be here. And people with their hands raised, like, you know, like I was praying earlier this week too, and God was showing me this thing that happened in my life. And I seen different people in here with their like hands raised, and I'm like, oh, they're coming into a surrender mode. And I was actually telling my dad this earlier as I was praying, and God took me back to this time where I got arrested, and this cop was like, freeze, put your hands in the air, surrender. And I remember I put my hands in the air and I surrendered. He's like, don't fight it. You know, don't fight it. It'll be easier for you if you don't fight it. And now it's the same thing in the church.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
It's the same thing in the church when you put your hands up. You're saying, God, I surrender.
That's it. That's it.
I'm gonna let you do your job. I'm gonna fall back in my life.
Come on. That's
I'm gonna
good.
completely surrender. I'm gonna freeze.
Woo.
God, I'm gonna let you take over.
Hallelujah.
That's what you do when you put your hands up in the air and you singing, and I've been in church so many times I didn't really ever know that. Like I did it before, and I'm like, yeah, I felt Jesus. I was like, hallelujah. but God was just showing me that, and so that's like such a thing. So when I was looking around today, I seen people's hands raised, and that's really like it's just a thing that you're really saying to God is like, I surrender, God. I'm going to freeze, God. I'm going to let you do your job, God. I'm not going to fight you no more, God. I'm going to trust you, God. I'm going to believe you. And so it was really like, it was really good. Like, I don't know. It was really good. That's all I got.
Amen.